Hey there, plushies, I'm the Freddy neighborhood Let's Play SpiderMwa, and welcome you back to Freddy Pharkas Frontier Pharmacist. As we left off, we arrived at the pharmacy, and now we're just gonna explore more and see what's what and actually find out what we have to do. You'll have to excuse me if I sometimes go really quiet or I just seem very disoriented. That's because I'm still recovering from the weekend where I was awake for pretty much 36 hours in total. I took a 1-hour nap, then I slept for 10 hours. And I'm still heavily disoriented, but maybe playing a video game actually may cheer me up, or not cheer me up, but wake me up. I'm still tired. Anyway.
It's the president's wife.
Yeah, we know that already.
This is a deluxe shelving unit.
Don't you mean this
featuring
is?
Polished mahogany inlays, filigreed end caps, extra wide mid-height shelf, and no-skid recessed legs.
Ooh.
Shelving units for Freddy Pharkas, provided by Crate and Whiskey Keg.
Not sponsored by. And also, why did the whiskey keg have a dot at the end? That was supposed to be an advertisement. The dot shouldn't be the dot after the break. English is a language that he's trying to talk it.
Leave her where she is, as a shining beacon to all who gaze upon her serene countenance. Incidentally, have you heard about her scandalous affair?
Could you tell us more?
Ah, scratching right there sure feels good, eh, Freddy?
It always feels good when you have a scratch. Better scratch it then.
These little self-introspective chats are fun, aren't they, Freddy?
I was hoping he would actually talk to his ass like Ace Ventura does.
Mrs. Cleveland, I just want you to know that your Just Say No to Ether campaign has really inspired me. I'm totally committed to wiping out anesthetic abuse in our lifetime.
Salud.
Keep talking to photographs and you will be committed.
True, don't talk to inanimate objects. I ain't talking about you, Yoshi. You're a plushie. The rule, you are exempt from the rule. All plushies are exempt from the rule. Usually when you talk to inanimate objects, people will see you as crazy. But when you talk to plushies, they only see them as your friends. Trust me, I'm a plushie expert.
You can't think of anything to say to that.
Well, I can't think of anything, period. Yay, my first attempt of a joke.
You can't think of anything to say to that. You can't talk to the sign. It only knows sign language.
And the first attempt of a joke for the game there.
You can't think.
Mrs. Cleveland.
Keep talking. You can't think of it. You can't think. You can't think of. You and that are not on speaking terms.
Okay, good to know.
You can't talk to the.
Talk to the hand because the face don't want to hear it.
You can't think of anything.
I read about that there's an Easter egg when you try to talk to inanimate objects.
You can't think of any. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't think of. You and that. You and that. You can't think. You and that. You. You can't think. You can't. You can't. These little. You can't. You and that.
I wonder if
You
it
can't think. You and.
I wonder if it only happens in certain spots. It's supposed to be some kind of a German doctor, you know, a psychiatrist, like a Sigmund Freud voice comes in. And how long have you been talking with these things? Or something like that. Anyway, maybe it'll happen at some point. But for now, let's,
Your overhead designer lamps are rarely used, since the pharmacy closes at sunset.
Then why have lamps in here? Well, he could still work in here, you know. Put things in place, make more medicine for tomorrow, if people want their prescriptions.
Back then, this is what was known as a support system.
There might be a joke in there somewhere, but I don't see it. Well, let's go in. Ah! Our lady friend, the schoolmarm.
Frederick!
What did we do?
Why, Miss Prim, you sure are looking purty today.
Ma'am?
Now, Frederick, you may call me Penelope if you please.
Ma'am?
After all, I think we're to that point in our relationship.
Ooh, first name.
She must be talking about the hayride you both went on last month. Or the square dance you both went to last week. Or the cow-tipping expedition you both went on last night.
Girlfriend!
Well then, to what do I owe the pleasure of your company this fine morning?
Freddy's got a girlfriend,
Oh,
Freddy.
this isn't a social call, I'm afraid. I have this rather important prescription Doc Gillespie gave me. I was hoping you could fill it as soon as possible.
My pleasure, Penelope.
I guess Gillespie was here before we came in. As to be the physician of the place. I mean, he's not just a pharmacist. Usually pharmacists are also, back in the day, they were doctors. I mean, today, pretty much the pharmacists that we have, like when I go to a pharmacy, if I need some kind of medicine, they are actually qualified as a nurse. So they know about diseases and everything. That's how they can give you the prescriptions or whatever pills you're looking for. Because they know about this stuff. They have to. Otherwise, it would be weird if they would actually get anybody to work in a pharmacist. They're like, I'm looking for some headache pills. Here. These are eye drops. I don't fucking know. Has anybody actually made that into a comedy sketch? That would be hilarious. Like somebody just off the street working as an apothecary. In a pharmacist. Apothecary. I like the word apothecary. People should use that more these days. Definitely.
The tube of Preparation G, the latest anti-hemorrhoidal unguent from the folks at Park Loomis, is labeled Top Tush Treatments since 1848.
I don't know. I have to say, I don't like this narrator that much because he loses his twang in his accent quite a lot of times. I mean, sometimes he talks just like he should be as a cowboy, but then sometimes he just talks normally. They've used this guy as a narrator in some other games. I think, maybe in the Larry games? I think he might have been in some of the Larry games. Certainly wasn't in Space Quest. They had somebody more epic for the Space Quest games. But I've heard his voice in some other Sierra games before. Penelope Prim, 4 milliliters. Is it milliliters? I think it's milliliters. Tyloxypolinide, orally twice a day for 5 days. And Penelope's works.
Why, the poor dear. She must be suffering from the vapors.
Vapors?
Those injurious exhalations produced within the body, creating feelings of hypochondria and depression. Her prescription is in Doc's usual scrawl and smells of whiskey, so you know it's authentic.
I mean, doctors can get nervous on their jobs, so a little bit of a spiritual helper, if you do mind, can help out a little bit. Well, I guess we're gonna go and make this prescription then? In the back room, I think.
This door leads to your back office, laboratory, and the stairs to the second floor.
Alright, let's go. Also, I should have talked to her some more. Actually, let's do that before I do anything here, because if I remember correctly, this thing where we have to do this prescription stuff is the copy protection. And I don't have the manual open. So I better talk to her before I do anything else.
I sure have been having a swell time with you these past few weeks, Penelope.
I am.
Why, thank you, Frederick. I have too.
Good to hear.
I do believe I have a growing affection for you.
Better that than
That's
infection.
sweet of you, Frederick. I think you're very cute. For a pharmacist, that is. Considering you've only got one ear. And you're scrawnier than the other men in town.
She thinks I'm cute. She really thinks I'm cute.
Yeah, we don't see it in the portrait, but in the opening song, it actually tells that his ear was shot off. So Freddy really does have only one ear. You know what they say? In one ear out goes the other.
How's school, Penelope?
Oh, how I love filling those impressionable young minds with knowledge, their eager faces turned upward in the quest to learn. It's so satisfying.
Face of an eager child wanting to learn.
I was wondering if you were going to go to the Rotary Club luncheon next week, and if so, if you had anybody else to go with.
Forgive me, Frederick. I do so hate to be short with you, but I do need this prescription. Otherwise, I'd love to stay and chat. Please don't think me impertinent.
Oh, of course not.
Oh, not at all. It's my fault for prattling on so. I'll get right to it.
It's only because he has a crush on you, lady. He wants to get your
prescription. And I was also saving because Easter eggs, you know?
Please, Frederick, not in public, and not in broad daylight, and never ever before our 19th date.
Wow, specific much. 19th date? And that's when he gets to second base? Well, she's got priorities, or her demands at least. Maybe not demands. English is a language, brain scrambled. Excuse me if I don't know how you speak to do.
It's a lamp, and a bodaciously ugly one at that. Why, it's your old roll-top desk. What happened to that roll you recently left on top of it? You must have eaten it.
That's not what I wrote. Funny. I don't say it's not that ugly. Does it look ugly to you, this lamp? Narrator has his... Shouldn't be so, you know, brutally honest, I guess.
Some buxom lady's portrait. Notice how the painting seems to follow you around the room. And I don't mean her eyes.
That's exactly what I was thinking. What? Boobies! Who doesn't like boobies?
Don't move it. It's covering up the remains of a failed experiment in which you tried to cure the common cold by building up a resistance to mucus.
Ew! Ew!
You can't think of anything to say to that.
I would know exactly what I would say to that painting. Ma'am.
Madame?
Boobies. Imagination.
You open your mouth to say something to it, but words fail you.
My everyday thing.
This is the cozy little back room of your pharmacy where you do your heavy thinking. In other words, you don't spend much time here.
Ha 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 ha. Because in Freddy's dumb, apparently.
Or reference bookshelf, complete with such top 10 medical reading as everything you always wanted to know about pustules but were too revolted to ask, Typhlime book of blackhead removal, boil lancing, and facial renovation, the dermatologist who came in from the cold sore, the 1882 edition of What Color Is Your Parasite, the 1-minute mandibula, a globe, and some souvenirs of your first customers.
Disgusting titles.
Or reference book.
No need to learn more. No need to learn more.
You keep your anatomical models in here. But don't worry, you're not the only one in town with a few skeletons in your closet.
What skeletons do you have in your closet? Let me know in the comments.
It's a picture of some nearby big rock.
Usually that's called a mountain.
You keep a pitcher of water in a basin so you can occasionally wash your face.
Good thing to have around. I don't see any wash towel though. I think you're lacking in the wash basin there, Freddy. Gotta have a towel. After all.
You can't think of anything. You can't think.
Can we open this?
The desktop's locked. Damn this crude desktop interface.
Programming joke.
That's the wrong key for the roll-top desk.
I guess it's for the front door and front door only. Well, next time, let's figure out how to do this prescription. In other words, I'm gonna try to find a manual so we can do it. And that's until next time. So thank everybody for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I hope you all have a good evening, good afternoon, and a good morning. Ma'am. And I'll see you all next time. Take care, people. Bye.